there really is a huge face on the Pacific Ocean floor. It's really there. And it's half of our planet, and it's weeping. And whoever you are, you have to ask yourself, why is this big face on the Pacific Ocean floor? And NBC News asked me, why is he weeping? And I looked in the camera, and at that time, I didn't know. And so I said, you know, I don't know, but when I find out, I'm going to tell you. And years later, I did find out what the face on the Pacific Ocean floor is looking at, and why is he weeping, and I put that in my book, The Amazing Mystery of the Great Face on the Pacific Ocean Floor. A Sermon in Stone, Can Secrets Revealed Through the Earth's Topography, linked to the Biblical Apocalypse and the End of the World. What a mouthful. Some people have accused me of having too wordy of titles, like in the video, Scientific Proof of the Deliberate Supernatural. But the title says exactly what that particular video is about. And the amazing mystery of the great face on the Pacific Ocean floor is really only pinpointing one of the 5 great features we're going to be talking about. But it is half of our planet. It is the first discovery that I made, and I think it is actually the most important of them all. We deliberately show here on the cover of the book a cartoon-like tracing. And we make it as simplistic as possible just so you can see the reference points of the actual map that is behind it. And you can see North America there in the United States. When I went to some of the early publishers that were interested in publishing this book, they liked almost everything about it. But one of the most common complaints was, I don't want you to put End of the World on the cover. And I said, well, wait a minute, just a second. This entire discovery links to Bible prophecy. We show that it is, in effect, part of a great promise made by our Lord, made by God from the very beginning. As a matter of fact, from the very first verse in the Bible. And they said, yeah, but it's alarmist. People are going to think that you're being alarmist. And I said, well, I am being an alarmist, but in a nice way. An image like these images on our maps, on our world, are they deliberate or are they by coincidence? Has the face on the Pacific Ocean floor been created deliberately, or is it just put there by coincidence? And in the beginning, we actually brought in mathematicians to find out the odds. We wanted to know, what are the odds that there would be this many elements with the face on the Pacific Ocean floor? And we found that just the idea of the dozens of elements creating the anatomy around the eye were amazing enough. But then when we found out that we were able to go to the pineal body and find the ear bone and then the teeth at the bottom and see anatomy inside the head and outside of the head, and then you know how you cross-correlate various identifiable points. By the time we got done with that, we were in the hundreds of thousands with just the face on the Pacific Ocean floor, not to mention the explanation as to how come the other images relate to the face on the Pacific Ocean floor. So then we ask ourselves, well, wait a minute, what does this all mean? Well, in the state of California, you need 14 points on a thumbprint or a fingerprint for it to be admissible into a court. If you don't have at least 14, most attorneys just think that's not enough for me to submit it as evidence, and I'll lose the case anyway. We are so ahead of what it would take in a court to prove an identifiable person on a fingerprint. That is maybe the reason why people have been relatively supportive of us, because we've been careful.